Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are zooming all the way out to tell, well, the biggest story there is, the story of life itself. We're going to go from the single cell that kicked everything off to the unbelievably complex web that connects you, me, and every single living thing on this planet. The source material for this puts it so perfectly. Life on Earth isn't just some random collection of stuff. Nope, it's much more like a single living blanket where every single thread is connected to every other thread in this vast, intricate pattern. So how do you even begin to understand that? Well, to really get it, we need to be able to zoom in and zoom out, all the way from the huge scale of an ecosystem right down to the microscopic machinery humming away inside our own cells. So let's do it. Let's start with the biggest picture possible. Okay, we are starting with the widest possible view, the ecosystem. This is that vast system where every living and actually non-living thing is connected. Think of it like a perfect self-sustaining loop of energy. You've got sunlight fueling plants, right? They're the producers. Then those plants feed animals in this timeless dance of predator and prey. And when they die, decomposers, we're talking fungi, bacteria, they break them down, returning every last bit of nutrient back to the soil. In nature's economy, absolutely nothing goes to waste. All right, now let's zoom way in. If the ecosystem is the stage, what are the basic rules that all the actors have to follow? Well, it turns out it really boils down to two things: energy and information. First up, energy. Just think about the food you ate today. That food held potential energy. Right now, your body is busy transforming it into kinetic energy, the very energy you're using to listen and think. Every single action in the living world, from a plant reaching for the sun to you blinking your eyes, is just energy changing its form. It's never created and it's never destroyed. And the second rule? Information. And that is stored in DNA. You can think of it as the ultimate biological blueprint. In us humans, our 46 chromosomes are packed with about 25,000 genes that dictate, well, pretty much everything. From your eye color to whether or not you can curl your tongue, it's the code of life, passed down from one generation to the next. So now that we have those two rules, energy and information, we can really take a look at the fundamental engine of life itself, the cell. The cell theory is actually pretty simple, but wow, is it profound. Every living thing is made of cells, and every new cell has to come from an old one. But don't let that simplicity fool you, because inside each and every one of your trillions of cells is a bustling, microscopic city, complete with factories, power plants, and a transportation network that is running 24/7. So let's meet a few of the key players in this tiny city. First up, you've got the endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER for short. This thing is the city's massive factory complex. It's a whole maze of channels just churning out the proteins and other materials the cell needs to function and grow. Okay, so once those products are made in the ER factory, they get sent over to the Golgi apparatus. Think of this as the cell's main post office, or maybe its central shipping hub. It gets all these molecular packages, sorts them, slaps a chemical shipping label on them, and sends them off exactly where they need to go. So what happens to all the trash? Every good city has a sanitation department, right? In the cell, that is the job of the lysosomes. These are basically little sacs filled with powerful enzymes that hunt down and just dissolve all the cellular junk, worn out parts, invading bacteria, you name it. They keep the city clean and even recycle valuable materials. So these little cellular cities are pretty amazing all on their own, but their real power comes from teamwork. They organize themselves, they specialize in different jobs, and together they build entire organisms. So you have cells that organize into tissues. Then those tissues form organs. And then the organs work together in these incredibly complex systems, like the muscular system that lets you move or the circulatory system that acts as a transport network. Each one is just a marvel of coordination. The digestive system is a fantastic example of this. It's a multi-stage, multi-organ assembly line, and it's all dedicated to one critical job: turning the outside world, a piece of fruit, a slice of bread, into the fuel that powers your trillions of cells. Okay, let's zoom out one last time. We've seen how these tiny cells build massive systems. But how do these systems, and the creatures they make up, change over huge stretches of time? Well, this is the great grand drama of evolution. Darwin's revolutionary idea can really be broken down into 4 pretty elegant principles. 1. More offspring are born than can possibly survive. 2. There's natural variation within any group. Just look around you. 3. Those traits are inherited. And 4, this is the key, nature itself selects the individuals who have the traits best suited for survival in that environment. It's a simple but unbelievably powerful engine for change. And this whole process of selection has a huge impact on how populations grow. In a perfect world with unlimited food and space, you might see this explosive J-shaped growth curve. But reality is a constant struggle for resources, and that leads to a much more common S-shaped curve, where the growth slows down and levels off as a population hits the natural limits of its environment. And when it comes to population growth, no species has broken that S-curve quite like us. To put our growth into perspective, just think about this number, 3. That's roughly how many more people are on this planet every single second. This incredible rate of growth has become one of the biggest forces shaping the future of life on Earth. Our rapid growth, it really forces us to think about time differently. And this piece of ancient wisdom from the Iroquois offers such a powerful guide. It challenges us to shift our focus from just our own immediate needs to our long-term responsibility. It reminds us that every decision we make today is going to ripple out for generations and generations to come. And that brings our entire story full circle. We started with this idea of an interconnected web of life, and we land right back there, but hopefully with a much deeper understanding of our own unique and powerful place within it. We've seen how it's all linked, from the way a tiny cell processes energy to the DNA that builds an entire organism, all the way up to the global population dynamics that shape our environment. This interconnectedness is exactly why sustainability is so critical. It's all about protecting the delicate balance of the entire web. So from the microscopic factories buzzing inside your cells to the massive ecosystem you live in, it really is all one continuous story. And you are an active living part of it. So the final question is this: knowing you're part of this web, what's one connection you see differently now?